fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Oh. Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go! Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Are you new to sim racing, or maybe a veteran struggling to reach the next level? Have you ever wondered how the aliens reach impressive lap times that seem impossible to achieve? If so, you're not alone. Most drivers reach a certain level and get stuck. But getting faster on track is easier than you think. VRS coaches are some of the best sim racers in the world and offer one-on-one driver skills training at affordable rates to help new drivers learn the basics and help experienced drivers break through to the next level. Are you ready to get faster and get off the iRacing roller coaster? If so, VRS one-on-one personal training is for you. If you've invested in your equipment, it might be time to invest in yourself. Just go to virtualracingschool.com and sign up for a 30, 60 or 90-minute session with one of our world-class coaches, and you'll learn exactly what to do for faster lap times and more podiums.
Welcome one and welcome all to SimSpeed TV. It's time for Friday Night Indy Car. This is Indy Fixed Australia by Aussie Online Gaming. Round 3 and the second oval round of the season at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 1.5 miles of high-speed action around this place, and we've got 75 laps of which coming up tonight. Drivers are just in qualifying at the moment. And to bring it to you all live here on SimSpeed TV with Jay Kennedy on production, I am Reese Gardner, and alongside me in the commentary box is Bradley Wingard. Brad, it's the second oval round. Gateway last round was a bit of a caution fest, but we're hoping that things will improve a little tonight. But that said, we do have our doubts because this track is incredibly high speed.
Yeah, it absolutely is, Reese. Thanks for having me. Unfortunately, I missed last week, but it was definitely a show. But this week is all going to be about staying in the draft, not wrecking out, and being in the position that you need to be in to fight for the win at the end. Because no real tyre struggles, not like last week. It's all going to be about that pace and that consistency. And these guys are going astronomically quick, like 370 without a draft, 380 at the back of a massive draft train. Like, that's ridiculously quick. Like, my brain cannot comprehend why people do this for a living, but they do, and we get to watch it, and I'm very excited.
Indeed, at the end of qualifying, we got Mike Taliancic, who is putting in his laps right at the end of the session. Mike is the team leader of Pursuit Sim Racing and running nice and high in turn 4 here to get the best slingshot possible onto his final qualifying lap. Currently Lachlan Capel on pole position, 24.673, 25.2 for Mike. That is not a representative time. This is going to be the lap that counts. But you see how much precision is required in these turns. It's flat out all the way around in qualifying trim, but you still have to fight that rear end on this fixed setup.
Yeah, you absolutely do. It's only 1.5 miles, but they use the low downforce setting as well, rather than the...
Oh, that's naughty. He used the apron. Not allowed to do that.
I was about to say that it compromised his run as well. It's actually, I don't know if that counted as a lap properly, but he's down in 13th, so it did count, but that is out of bounds for tonight because, as you saw, it spins the car out very easily. So no apron running tonight, unlike in NASCAR, but still plenty of side-by-side action space on the racetrack.
Well, that is qualifying over, and maybe the stewards might have a look at Mike Taliancic after the night's racing is done. Here are the race details for tonight. We got 75 laps around Vegas, and of course it is the hard tyre compound only. You only see the variance in tyre compound on road course races. They only get 3 sets of tyres, the one they start on and 2 extra, and you get approximately 49 laps out of a tank here, so it'll be interesting to see. At Gateway, the top 10, I believe, or top 9 drivers managed to complete the race without taking a pit stop for fuel, purely because of the amount of cautions. Might we see the same tonight? That is the big question.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think tyres will play their part tonight, but not as much as at Gateway, because that's a much slower, more turny track than here. But that fuel is going to be very interesting come safety cars and cautions, because only one stop, but when the safety car comes and how late it comes can dictate people's races.
It can indeed, and this is the forecast for the rest of the season. Of course, we are in round 3 at the moment, but then we go to 2 more oval rounds at Richmond and Atlanta. Richmond I'm particularly looking forward to because it is a shorter oval and certainly going to provide some short track style action.
Yeah, when we raced Scrap with AOG late-ish last year, we went to Richmond. That was a lot of fun in the trucks, so it's going to be very interesting racing them in the Indy Car with the high downforce package there again. And then Atlanta is kind of similar to this, but I haven't had much experience around there, so I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, Atlanta is known to be quite tough on tyres due to its rough surface, so we might see tyres be a very big factor there, similar to Gateway. Here are our Zoom feeds for tonight. We've got a whole ton of drivers working their way up here in the live feed. We got Cameron Dance up on the top row, running left to right. I believe it's Zach Mitchell, second on that row, and Sam Blacklock and Simon Mazzomo up there on top. We got Isaac Edwards, Daniel Yeaman, Bo Albert as well in the third slot on the second row, and Daniel Stevens with his big triple screen setup and multitude of buttons. And on the left side of the bottom row, that's Sebastian Flock, and then we've got, I believe that's Tyson Broad on the right. No, sorry, Matthew Bowler is on the right side there on the bottom row. So we'll be checking in with these drivers throughout the racing tonight just to see how they're going. Of course, there is a combined road and oval course layout here at Las Vegas, but we aren't going to be using that tonight. Now the drivers are in the warm-up session, getting their final preparations done for the night's racing. And tell you what, after Gateway, the drivers will be looking to keep things a bit cleaner tonight.
We can only hope so. Much bigger speed difference. I'm going to say this multiple times throughout the night, and I apologize in advance, but this is a stupidly quick racetrack. And racing like the drivers did at Gateway isn't going to fly. Very different setup for the car, very different conditions. It's about as wide, but the corners are a bit more even in their radius, which is one thing that Gateway didn't have. But pack racing here is going to be completely different to what the guys experienced at Gateway, and hopefully these guys have done enough pack running in the lead up to this race that they can adapt, because otherwise it's just going to be Gateway again, but slightly faster top speeds.
Well, with 1 minute to go in the warm-up session, I think we should take an opportunity to go through the grid for tonight's racing. After a stellar performance in qualifying, Lachlan Capel is going to start on pole position alongside Cameron Dance. Daniel Stevens putting in a great performance there in car number 10. He'll be starting third alongside series administrator Daniel Yeaman. It's Job Stewart who ended up winning the first round and finishing second at Gateway, starting from fifth alongside Altus Esports' Bo Albert, who got himself a top 4 finish last round. Andrew Gilliam and Sam Blacklock 7th and 8th. Rounding out the top 10 is going to be James Shepherd and Ben Johnson. P3 in the championship, Corey McFarlane starting along Caleb Hydes for 11th and 12th.
Mike Taliancic next to his PRT teammate in Matt Bowler, share row 7. Blake Delaney and Sebastian Flock row 8. Bailey Frid and Tristo Yellow rounding out row 9. Chris Wheatzel and Jamie Dyke round out the top 20, with Tyson Broad and Blair Bowler starting in 22nd. Brady Carr and Zach Mitchell round out row 12.
It's going to be Isaac Edwards starting in 25th alongside Nathan Gardner. Then we've got David Coleman and Stephen Grimmer there on row 14, with Simon Mazzomo starting on the 15th row. Thomas Hinz is missing from the graphic, but we presume that he will be starting the race there, with Tom Wilkinson also in the session as well, making it 31 cars taking to the grid here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And as the drivers grid up and get ready to start off on their single pace lap, let's check out the championship standings coming into this round. It is Job Stewart who leads the way. He's had the most consistent results so far, with the win at Road America round 1, finishing second at Gateway last round. Cameron Dance is a little bit further behind. He didn't get the best finish at Road America, but he did win the race at Gateway. And we got Corey McFarlane in third on 63 points. There we go, with Thomas Hinz rounding out the top 5 with Bailey Frid. It's looking particularly competitive here for that 4th spot.
Yeah, it absolutely is. 5th, yeah, pretty much 4th down to 8th is extremely close, and even Brady Carr and Chris Wheatzel in 10th aren't that far behind these guys, especially with everything that happened last week at Gateway. A lot of drivers not getting the result that they wanted, and hopefully trying to capitalize here tonight's a bit wider, even though it is faster. There's a bit more wiggle room here for the guys to negotiate, but at the speeds that they travel, that closing those gaps down if there's an incident are so difficult to do. But it'll be interesting to see how the championship flips or stays the same, with Cameron Dance obviously starting on the front row in 2nd and Job Stewart down in 5th. The dirty air isn't that crazy around here, but it's still enough to upset the car.
Very much so, especially with the progressive banking that's installed on this track. That's going to be interesting to see. We might be able to see drivers hold the outside line very well, but that transition onto the flat of the back stretch is certainly going to be a factor. Coming through the last couple of turns now, the start will be up to Lachlan Capel. Before this round, drivers had to wait until the green flag before they could go, but now there's been some rule changes, and Lachlan Capel will be able to go whenever he likes once the pace car pulls in, which it should momentarily. When does car number 18 decide to get going? He gets going quite early and gets a very good jump on Cameron Dance, who immediately moves down to the inside. Green flag, we are racing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Pretty good run from Dan Stevens in 3rd. He's keeping all of the drivers behind him there. It looks like the top 6. Top 7 breaking away from the rest of the field. It's quite the gap back to Andrew Gilliam there, as Sam Blacklock and Job Stewart try to chase down Bo Albert and Daniel Yeaman. Already big slipstream battling going on here. Pack Racing, and Blacklock immediately to the inside passes Job Stewart coming through the tri-oval, and it looks like he is he's on the verge of getting Cameron Dance coming into turns 1 and 2. Still Lachlan Capel who leads the way, but Dan Stevens has managed to get into P1 there. Fantastic run from the number 10 machine for Middle Finger Racing. We ride on board with Lachlan Capel now as he chases down the Kiwi, and keeping an eye out for Bo Albert on the left side of your screen. There he goes into turns 1 and 2 once again. Altus Esports on a charge right now.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and just like that, we're already on lap 3 of 75. That's how quick this racetrack is. Bo Albert wasting absolutely no time, already on the front row, and these guys need to try and get into position as they can, but patience is always helpful. These guys have already broken off. Nice big gap to the group behind. That's top 10, separated by absolutely nothing at all at these speeds. 2x2 down the back straight. Nothing so far. It's a much cleaner start than I was expecting, but touch wood. My bench is made of wood. That continues on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. I don't have any wood to touch, but certainly probably plastic, linoleum, thereabouts. This pack goes all the way back to 13th place, and that's Matt Bowler who's right at the end of that. But they've got Sebastian Flox starting to come up on them there in car number 84. He's broken away from the pack behind, and he's going to start making himself a factor in this battle. He holds the fastest lap of the race at the moment.
That's what
Yeah.
we were saying. That massive draft train that he's at the back of gives you that huge.
yellow.
Oh, that's a big crash. Where is that one?
Tristan Yelland and Chris Whitesell have come together, it seems, in turn 3. We'll try to get a replay of that, and that's an interesting one. Looks to me like Tristo Yelland suffered a bit of understeer, middle of the track in turn 4, and ended up collecting Chris Whitesell, who was trying to make his way around the outside. There is Tristo and Whitesell trying to make the move around the outside, but man, Tristo just washes up and they both get into the wall. Fortunately, no other cars involved in that.
Yeah, very lucky for all of those in the trailing pack to get out of that wreck. That's what we were saying. You come up on those incidents so quickly. Thankfully, they went straight up into the wall and stayed there. They didn't come back down. Made it very easy for the drivers to negotiate. But thankfully, these guys do still have one fast repair, so they're going to be down the back of the train, but they'll be back out and running very quickly. But using your one fast repair on lap 5 is less than ideal.
Yeah, less than ideal indeed. It's oh boy. Still too early in the race. And fun fact, that green flag run just then was longer than any green flag run we got at Gateway last week. So we're already improving on last Friday.
Might only be a small improvement, but we'll take that as it comes, I guess. Any small win is a good win, and we had some 3-wide action up the front as well. So these guys up the front definitely know what they're doing, and they can run in the pack, which is what we wanted. Now we just need everyone else to follow their lead, and I think we're going to be on for a fantastic green flag run of 68 laps to get us home.
Well, on board here with Daniel Stevens. He's got no one in front of him but the pace car. He has been having a few technical issues in practice, though, so he'll be hoping that those gremlins stay at bay for tonight. He holds on now to P1 so far. Bo Albert, meanwhile, gaining 4 positions, running second place at the moment. Cameron Dance has lost a position in third. Andrew Gilliam up 3. Sam Blacklock up 2. Corey McFarlane up 4. But the biggest mover in the field is Thomas Hins, all the way down in 25th position. Remember, he started in 31st. And Bo Albert looking quite chill there. No hands on the wheel.
Yeah, these guys aren't... I'm wondering if he's taken some advice from his qualifying run at Gateway last week using fuel map 8 on the Indy Car, which is the safety car fuel map, not the fast fuel map. It's a safety car one. He qualified that on that last week, so he's more than familiar with it at the moment and really maximizing it now rather than when he wasn't really meant to last week.
It's looking like we've got a couple of visitors to the pits. Brady Carr and David Coleman have decided to jump in for a stop. And looks like that might just be to top up the fuel tank. They were stopped, Carr and Coleman, for 4.7 and 4.3 seconds, respectively. So keep an eye out for them as the race ticks on. And we shall see whether or not they get an advantage over these other drivers who have elected to stay out under this caution. Cameron Dance, of course, concentrating hard at the moment. He'll be looking to just preserve his position and try and hold up the drivers behind him. He'll be going for his second win in a row tonight, and he's certainly in a good position for that, with 2 cars being able to draft up ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. He's no stranger when it comes to the Indy Car. Obviously won the Majors Indy 500 last year. As Thomas Hins, I was going to mention when we brought him up earlier that he's no stranger to these cars, finishing second in that race as well. So him moving up the pack so early, I'm not quite surprised by, and I'm more than expecting to see him there or thereabouts at the end when it comes to that knife edge finish. But there are a lot of talented drivers in this field, but I think those two are definitely the two with the most experience in the car, and Cam settling into that rhythm in that early pack and Thomas Hins moving up through the pack doesn't really surprise me because of that.
We do wave hello to Tyson Broad in return. He's one of the many drivers on our Zoom feed tonight. A bit of a late joiner to the Zoom feed, but he is on there, and we'll be able to check in on him at some point later on. So we've got an awful lot of skilled drivers here going for victory tonight. But it's all going to be on Daniel Stevens here as the pace car starts to pull away from the field, running nice and high in the final turns here to try and get the best run possible. Another rule alteration is that drivers can only leave a gap maximum of half a second to the car ahead, so we shouldn't get too much space between cars on the restart here. But Daniel Stevens decides to go early as the pace car pulls in. Fortunately for Bo Albert, he was right on it, and he stays well within draft range as we are racing again, starting lap 10 in Indy and Fixed Indy Australia. Already seeing some close racing happen in the back half of the top 10. McFarlane, Yeaman and Stewart all together here. Stewart trying to cut under the inside of both of these cars, but McFarlane just ahead. He will have to give some room to Stewart on the inside. And Job manages to get a good run through turns 3 and 4. Daniel Yeaman, well, he doesn't look very stressed at all on the Zoom feed, but certainly he'll be thinking over what to do here. Slight bit of understeer in turns 1 and 2. That allows McFarlane back by him, and Caleb Hyde's right on them too, as it is on for the lead here. Bo Albert on the outside, trying his best to get a good run, but Cameron Dance getting a better run. It's going to be 3 wide for second place across the line, just about. Cameron Dance not quite able to draw alongside, but we got 2 Altus Esports cars in the top 5. They will certainly be happy with that.
Yeah, they absolutely will, and these guys look so calm in their cockpits as both Altus cars go side by side into turn 3 and through turn 4. But these guys are going at 375 kilometers an hour. For context, that's 104 meters a second. So these guys are clearing an NRL football field every single second, which is... That's what I mean by this is ridiculously quick. But these guys are doing that 3x3 and...
Ooh, Caleb Hyde has found the wall. He's missing his right front wheel. We stay green for now, but I doubt that will last for much longer. Hydes is going to have to try and get down to the pit lane here. Looks like he's just managed to. That's fortunate. We stay green. Caleb Hydes did understeer into the wall, and the caution is now out. It looks like it might be for Sebastian Flock, who's had quite the spin coming through the tri-oval. Very good stat, I have to say there, Brad, clearing an NRL field every second. Sebastian Flock still got a smile on his face, but it looks like he caught the apron in the tri-oval. And of course, you are not allowed to use the apron, and that is partially the reason why. He didn't use all that much of it, so he should be okay in a rules sense, but you'll see it happen here. The ever so minute crossing of the line that destabilized the car on the flat of the apron and sucked him down.
Which is what we want. We want the apron to suck the drivers off of the racing line. It still brings out the caution, and thankfully no one else was involved. But he was doing the right thing, trying to give room on the outside to... I missed who that was running side by side with him, but he was doing the right thing. But yeah, that's why we've said no running on the apron, because if you're in a tight battle, that gets a lot messier than that was. But thankfully, it was Bailey Frid that he was giving room to on the outside, so
I believe
no harm
it was Tyson
done.
Broad, actually, sorry.
I was too, sorry, my bad, yes. So good intentions, but unfortunate outcome for Sebastian Flock, but we reset and go again.
And we're starting to get some pit stops here. Interesting. We've got a few drivers in the top 10 going for it. Our pole sitter, Lachlan Capel, is in. Daniel Yeaman is in. Cameron Dance in as well. And they are joined by Simon Mazzomo and Thomas Hinz, as well as Brady Carr and David Coleman, who are looking to top their tanks up once again. Who is going to win the race off pit road? Well, now that we are with about 50-ish laps to go, if you pit now and top up your tank, you could potentially go to the end from here. Obviously, you'd be banking on a few more cautions down the line to save a little more fuel, but that could be an interesting call from these guys.
I don't want to be the awful person in the room, but I will. But 16 minus 75 is 60, not 50.
My apologies.
So we can't quite make it home from here. Apparently they can fuel safe from here, but that's a tall order to save an extra 10 laps of fuel. But I'm not going to trust not going to debate the wise words of Cam Dance in his math and his ability in these cars, but I think while we have these early cautions, because early cautions are probably going to be more likely than late ones, you might as well just top up the tank because everyone's going to have to fill to the end almost regardless. So if you can save some time by pitting now for later, then I don't see any harm in that.
Yeah, I don't see any harm in it either, and no worries on the correction, Brad. I've corrected you once tonight. You have corrected me. The score is settled. So Zach Mitchell for Drop Bear Motorsport, teammate to Daniel Yeaman. He's up 10 positions now from where he started. He's making moves throughout the field, and he'll certainly have been helped in that by drivers ahead of him coming into the lane. But it will be interesting to see if there is another caution further down the line. He'll be one of the drivers making his way into the lane. It is still Daniel Stevens who leads the way here. Lights are still on the pace car. We should be going green on the next lap after this one. But Daniel Stevens very much untroubled here in the lead of this race, doing everything right for the time being, staying out of trouble, which, as we've seen, is the main thing so far.
Yeah, absolutely is, and I'm not sure if my eyes deceived me a lot when Lachlan Capel came into the pits. I think he went up on the jacks for tyres, but I'm not sure if that is my eyes playing silly buggers or not.
Well,
but no one else seemed to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because Dan Yeaman and Cam Dance stayed down, but Lockie Capel came up. So I think he's taken tyres, which is why he came out behind those guys in the pit stops.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case there. Capel was stopped for 8.4 seconds, which is consistent with a tyre stop. Tyres take 7 seconds or thereabouts to change on an Indy car. So Capel with fresh rubber, see how well he can do trying to carve his way back up through the field. The leading two cars that are pitted are Dance and Yeaman in 17th and 18th. You have to go all the way back down to 23rd to find Lachlan Capel. Tristo Yelland is ahead of him in terms of position, but of course Yelland took to the pit lane after the crash that brought out the first caution. That would have been to get the fast repair done and take a little bit of service while he was at it. Well, we should be looking to go green momentarily as the sun sets here in Vegas. Half a chance that we might finish under lights here, but we do have quite a bit of sunlight left in the day. What does Daniel Stevens do here? Goes early once again, and Andrew Gilliam in second place is with him. It's a pretty good start, though, from Job Stewart and Corey McFarlane. They're trying to round up Sam Blacklock here for fourth place. They've got to keep an eye out for James Shepherd in car 16 just behind them. Reasonable gaps here as Dan Stevens breaks the draft on Andrew Gilliam down the back stretch, and it's side by side between McFarlane and Blacklock. Job Stewart trying his best to find a gap in amongst all of this, but it's just not happening for the time being. Start of lap 20 then, and what a run these guys are having as it's side by side for the lead, and going for it on Dan Stevens is Andrew Gilliam. They've got Bo Albert slotted up right behind them, but it's a great run from Corey McFarlane around the outside. He is in third, but will slot back down to fourth as Albert gets a better run through the second half of turn 4. It's a great run from Job Stewart and from Sam Blacklock as the top 6 here all in one train. Goodness me, this is fantastic racing.
It absolutely is, and this is why we love these cars at a track like this, because the outside gives you an awesome run out of the corner, but then that inside line is where you want to be. That's where you've got Dan Stevens, Bo Albert, and Sam Blacklock line astern down there. That's where they're getting the massive draft. So the corner high gives you a good run, but the low is where the toe is. And that ebb and flow that we see through the corners is just fantastic. And now everyone from 6th back has caught back up again. like nothing happened. We're back to normal, and this front pack is still pulled away from first down to 13th. They've just left the mid pack in their wake.
Yeah, that mid-pack is headed up by Cam Dance, and Daniel Yeaman is, oh my goodness gracious me. That looked quite close there for Tyson Broad at the back of this pack. Got to take care, guys, as Matt Bowler tries to hold the outside. It's still 2x2 here for the top 6 positions, and oh, that's a good run from Job Stewart around the outside, but a better run from Corey McFarlane. He's going to try and make it 3 wide for the lead coming into turn 1. Oh boy. This is very stressful to watch. Andrew Gilliam trying his best to find some more front-end grip for a better run on Daniel Stevens. Bo Albert stuck on the inside, and I think he's pretty comfortable there for the time being. He's boxed in enough by Gilliam and Stevens that's not going to give Corey McFarlane much of a run. He's all on his own there on the top line, but this is how close they are at over 355 kilometers an hour coming into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, the gap between Bo and Stevens in front is just enough that Andrew Gilliam can't get to the bottom, so he can't get that draft. This is the biggest gap he's had so far, but he's just far up enough on Dan Stevens' car that he can't drop down behind him and in front of Bo, and if he does, he has to come off the gas, and it kills all of their momentum. So he's stuck on that outside, which is a good run, but it's never quite enough, and Corey McFarlane going outside of Bo again gets the run and the tow from Andrew Gilliam. Job Stewart in behind that with Sam Blacklock still on the inside, and now Job going to the outside of Corey. It's roles reverse from last lap.
I'll tell you what, Cameron Dance and Daniel Yeaman are just chipping away at the gap here. They're running solo in their own 2-car train in 14th and 15th. We'll see if they can catch up to these guys. You might just see them at the top of the frame there. That is where they are ahead of this huge pack as Dance and Yeaman. Yeah, it looks like they're actually trading places, working together here as they bring Blair Bowler in with them to try and catch back up to the front pack. But we'll return to that front pack as it's 3 wide for second place. Oh, and there's a caution. That's happened somewhere else. It's Nathan Gardner who's gone for a spin. And it doesn't look like... actually, hang on a minute. Going to the replay, looks like he had to check up for Stephen Grimmer, who had just made the move on him coming into turn 3. Gardner having to lift ever so slightly and got tagged in the rear by Simon Mazzomo.
That's what we were talking about, how quickly things happen in these cars, because that was a matter of a check up and then he was hit instantly. Just there was nowhere to go. We're on the replay from Simon Mazzomo is now looking over his shoulder, and just like that, there's nowhere to go. He's there already, and I'm sure Simon would be kicking himself now, but absolutely nothing he could do in that situation, because if he hits the brakes, he and about 6 other people are in the fence as well.
I think we should get a view on board from the rear of Isaac Edwards as well, as Simon Mazzomo processing what has gone on. But Isaac Edwards got really lucky, actually, in the tri-oval, because Gardner was coming back up onto the circuit. Edwards only just avoided him. I think it was a matter of mere millimeters. Simply astounding here for Isaac Edwards. Watch this on board. You'll see Nathan Gardner spinning back up the circuit here, and whoa dear.
That was a bit too close for comfort. Very well avoided by Isaac, but that was a car coming back up right in front of him very, very quickly. And now we see with 45 laps to go, this is get home territory, and pretty much everyone, including those that have already pitted, are in. And why not? This is a free pit stop. Except for Johnson and Grimmer, apparently.
Yeah, they're the only 2 cars now who have not pitted. And throughout all of that, Lachlan Capel, pitting under the last caution, having stayed out, he's now filtered through to the lead of the cars that have pitted. It's Brady Carr, effective 2nd, Sam Blacklock, effective 3rd. This has been quite the shuffling here in the field. Reasonably quick pit stop from Blacklock, only 6.2 seconds. That's the quickest stop out of all the stops we've seen so far, out of the drivers that have just pitted. So, wow, this is quite the running order change here. Carr, Blacklock, Gilliam, Stevens, Stewart, Albert, McFarlane, Broad, Shepherd. Cameron Dance has pitted again, stayed down in 16th. Daniel Yeaman, though, has lost a couple of positions to Thomas Hinz and Jamie Dyke, who is only on one pit stop.
And the advantage, this restart is going to be very interesting because, of course, Johnson and Grimmer haven't pitted yet, so they're at a fuel and tyre disadvantage. Lachlan Capel, we saw come in, and we're 99% sure he took tyres on that lap 16 stop. No one else. I think everyone probably would have. Oh, Brady Carr did take tyres. I'm not sure about Sam Blacklock and everyone behind him. Which, given that pit stop, I don't think so. Andrew Gilliam, maybe. But this is going to be, tyres are all over the place, and this is going to be really, really interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, we're rapidly approaching halfway through this race, and we've only had 3 cautions so far. This is fantastic for green flag runs. This is exactly what we wanted to see at Gateway. But got a car down on the apron going for the lane. Chris Weitzel, it seems, who was running down in 30th place. It looks like he might just go a lap down from this. Of course, Weitzel, he was involved in the crash with Tristo Yelland that sparked the first caution, so it's just a case of pitting when he can, getting himself fueled up and trying to make it to the end. But it's going to be Ben Johnson and Stephen Grimmer who lead them away here as lights are now off on the pace car and lights are on around the circuit. We are now in dusk conditions here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, we absolutely are. Now the grip starts to come back, the track's starting to cool down, and it makes the cars even faster. A lot of the official races are at very hot track temps. Currently 22 degrees in this one, so nice and grippy. It's probably helping the pack racing that we have, and we're thankful for that. But now the race gets even quicker, and I'm not going to complain about that because it's always fun to watch. And I went back through and checked a couple of the pit stops. Sam Blacklock didn't take tyres, but Gilliam, Stevens, Job Stewart, Bo Albert have. They're the only ones that I've checked so far. So we have no tyres, 14-lap-old tyres, 14-lap-old tyres, no tyres, and then brand new tyres for the next 4 drivers. So this is, yeah, I'm excited for this restart because I have no idea what's going to happen with the tyres.
Yeah, this is going to be quite interesting as Ben Johnson lines it up here to lead them away. He goes as the green flag is poised to fly. There goes Barney doing his job. And Ben Johnson and Stephen Grimmer with Lachlan Capel in third leading the field here at Las Vegas. And it looks to me like Brady Carr and Sam Blacklock fighting hard over 4th place already. They've gotten a great gap over everyone else. There's a big pack forming for 7th on back. Daniel Stevens trying to protect from Job Stewart, who tried to round him up on the inside. And this is quite the pack here out of the drivers that have pitted. Flying down to the inside was Tyson Broad to try and snatch some more draft here as we ride on board with Corey McFarlane in car 94, almost going 3 wide for 8th place. And of course, these guys will know that at the next caution or at the next round of pit stops, they will filter through into the lead pack. My goodness, Daniel Stevens, he is... it's pretty much business as usual for him here. He's not fighting for the lead at the moment, but he's keeping down to the inside as they go 2 wide, 4 deep for this 7th position.
Yeah, they absolutely are, but I've just been watching the lead pack. Sam Blacklock has just put jet engine fuel into his car because he's just gone past Lachlan Capel, past Ben Johnson. He's now challenging for the lead of the race, just like that. He is in the lead of the race. My apologies, I missed that. I was wrapped up in catching up on everything else. Stephen Grimmer goes back to the lead, but Sam Blacklock with that inside line gonna come out on top. Then we have Ben Johnson and Brady Carr going side by side. Andrew Gilliam on the outside of them as well. This is going to drag Brady Carr through as well with the draft, and now Job on the back of Stephen Grimmer for his draft, and he's going to get the run into turn 1. And I'm going to need an extra set of lungs to commentate this, because everywhere I look, there's 3x3 or 2x2 in that pack is catching behind as well.
Oh, Stephen Grimmer trying his best to hold on here to this top position. He is continuing to challenge Sam Blacklock, box him in on the inside line, but just like that, we've got another caution. It looks like Bo Albert might have been involved in this, and that car looks destroyed. What on earth happened there? Actually looks to me like it was side-by-side contact with Corey McFarlane that sparked that. And also involved in that was Tyson Broad, sorry.
Yeah, Corey McFarlane was in the draft of Job Stewart and kind of caught himself out. We see it there. He caught up to Job Stewart a lot quicker than he thought, darted away, and yeah, ensuing miss right on screen.
Yeah, that's a huge shame and unfortunate for Daniel Yeaman as well in car number 54. He completely collected Tyson Broad when he spun back up the racetrack. So we've got a few of our former front runners here with major damage trying to get that repaired.
Yeah, so many sitting ducks in that, and thankfully these guys, I believe all of these guys will have their one fast repair, which at this point in the race isn't too bad. We're pretty much bang on halfway now, so you know, if they can make the other half on that one fast repair, then I guess that's well spent, but not exactly where these guys wanted to be, especially with Bo Albert, who was fighting for the lead earlier in the race. Dan Yeaman, with his early stop, was only going to climb back up the field as well, and you can see on Bo's face he's not exactly thrilled by that, but that's the nature of racing these cars at this speed.
Yeah, I can understand Bo's frustration there. He didn't do anything wrong in that particular incident. He was just down on the inside holding his line, and McFarlane unfortunately jerking a little to the left, and that's what sparked all of that. So well, there's still a chance for him to make his way back up. Tell you what, Thomas Hinz has done a really good job of staying out of trouble through all of this. He's now up to 14th. He's up 18 from where he started. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do here in the second half of the race. He's one of the many drivers here who have pitted twice so far, and he's done a lot of stuff right so far, hasn't he?
He absolutely has, and like I said earlier in the race, absolutely not surprised by that. He's following Cam Dance, so it'll be very entertaining to watch the two of them duke this out. I was hoping this would eventuate at some point in the race, and it's happened earlier than I expected. Simon Mazzomo as well, just behind them. He's no stranger to these cars either, so the fight between the three of them is something that I'm very much looking forward to watch, and just getting lap cars shuffled down the field now, so not too far from race start. But yeah, very massive kudos to, well, both Thomas Hinz and Simon Mazzomo, because Simon started 2 spots ahead of Thomas Hinz, so they're both up 15 and 18 places respectively.
And Simon Mazzomo has been very lucky to get away with what he has. Remember, he made that contact that ended up bringing out a caution a couple of times before this one, but he's managed to escape with minimal damage from that. He is still in the running, so good stuff there for the newer Drop Bear Motorsport driver. But Sam Blacklock, he's put a lot of practice in for this event, and he has certainly shown that, fighting his way to the lead. As you said, Brad, absolute rocket ship of a car that Altus Esports machine is, but it's not due to any setup tricks or anything like that. Again, it's in the name of the series, Fixed Indy Australia. It's all down to driving strategy and working your way through in the draft.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and he wasted no time getting past these guys on the last restart. So if he can get away now, I think he's in a very good position. But of course, Andrew Gilliam in third place is a very, very quick car as well. These guys started pretty much on the same row at the start of the race, and they're only only separated by Stephen Grimmer, who is yet to pit. He's the only car on track to not pit yet. So he's a factor, but he's a little bit of a non-factor as well, because he's going to need to come down to the pits in the next 20 laps, given all these safety cars. I think 20 laps is going to be his limit. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Blacklock and Gilliam fight it out, because, like you said, Blacklock has put a lot of practice in, and I'm sure he's wanting this result more than most other results, because we haven't seen him on track for a while, and we're about to go green, so I'll let you take over before I keep rambling too much.
Of course, lights are off on the pace car, everyone going high in the final turns. Daniel Stevens, he's going to be taking this restart out of 6th after leading most of the way early on. Blacklock has gone, and we are racing once again. Sam Blacklock doing okay there, but Dan is coming under a lot of pressure from 3 cars here, 2 pursuits, and the 94 of Corey McFarlane. Job Stewart trying to go around the outside here. They almost go 3 wide as McFarlane tries to stick his nose in on the top line, but he's going to get a double draft here from those 2 cars up ahead. Filtering through to the outside once again as they come round to start lap 43 of 75. There's an excellent run for Bailey Fred coming up behind them, and Stewart briefly has to give his teammates some room there on the inside. Daniel Stevens, oh, he wasn't able to go down to the inside fast enough. It's going to be Job Stewart trying to go for the move here to take 6th place from the Kiwi, and they'll be trying their best to catch up here to the top 5. Sam Blacklock has been rounded up by Andrew Gilliam. He's going to go around the outside into turn 1. Big understeer for Stephen Grimmer on those older tyres, and he's fallen right back into the clutches of this pack. They're going to have to be careful how they do this, as it's almost a pincer move there. Down to the inside goes Dan Stevens, and just about makes contact with Stephen Grimmer. That was so close.
I nearly yelled out, just literally audibly, just to cut you off, because that was butt clenching stuff, and I don't know how they didn't make contact, because that looked like contact on my screen. I think Jay Kennedy, our producer, had the exact same thoughts, screaming in our ear during that. These guys are, there's contact.
Grimmer's going to have to lift off here. Take it easy, Stephen. This is a very stressful situation for you to be in. He's getting swarmed by all of these guys in the mid-pack. He's fallen down to 11th place, and he's going to get caught by James Shepherd there and Thomas Hins on the inside and outside, respectively. And, well, he might filter back down through the field very quickly from here on out. The lead is still on. Sam Blacklock and Andrew Gilliam still heading up this massive train of cars that goes all the way down to 20th place. This is fantastic racing. Brady Carr in 3rd place. Capel versus Stewart for 4th. And it looks like Stewart's managed to get him, but we keep our eyes trained here on this back pack. Stephen Grimmer, well, Sebastian Flock and everyone around him had to lift out there. They've got the likes of Daniel Yeaman and the fishy cars of David Coleman and Jamie Dyke with them as well. But we go back to the lead. What a fantastic battle this is, as they almost go 3 wide coming into turn 1.
Almost, they do. Cam Dance in the middle of that gets the run on Capel on the inside and gets the inside run on McFarlane on the outside. He's looking to attack Job Stewart now, wasting absolutely no time. This is what we were talking about. He's an ace in these cars, probably one of the best Indy drivers in Australia. I don't think many people would argue with that. We've got that's a very slow fishy car. That's going to be a caution.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Oh, we're still green. David Coleman is still moving forward. He's going to have to come off the circuit here, but I'm not too sure what went on for him. They'll be coming up to him very shortly. Coleman will pull off onto the apron and let these guys go. And there is the lead battle, making their way past him. Not too sure what happened to Coleman. We'll get a replay of that later on when we have a chance. And I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon with the kind of battling that we're seeing here. Oh, look at the run for Cameron Dance around the outside of Andrew Gilliam, trying to go for 2nd, but losing some pace in the middle of the corner. He lets Corey McFarlane and Brady Carr back by him. Dance is going to have to filter back in and get some draft here. But McFarlane going to the outside, trying to make it 3 wide for the lead here on lap 51.
Oh my god, these guys are fighter pilots on the road, the way they maneuver these cars with such finesse at such speeds is always good to watch. We're on board with Corey McFarlane now. Fourth, third, depends on which millisecond you look at the timing screen. Outside of Brady Carr, nonetheless, Cam Dance having a run around the outside. I don't know if he'll go for it. Sticks the car there anyway. It's not a bad line around turn 3, but he's got to get down quick because Job Stewart's right there to pinch the spot off of him if he doesn't. Brady Carr's still patient in third, behind Sam Blacklock and Andrew Gilliam, who ducks in and out of the draft depending on what corner and where on the track. But that battle from fourth of Cam Dance back, I mean, it's just as intense as the battle for the lead. Now Cam gets the run on Brady Carr around the outside, trying to sweep around the outside of Job Stewart into turn 3 as well, maybe, depending on when Job Stewart pulls out. But Job Stewart, talk about him getting a run around the outside of Cam Dance into 3, but pulls out of it.
Well, we focus on Sam Blacklock, who is right in the midst here of the battle for the lead. We've got a car spinning further back. The caution is out. And it looks like that is Thomas Hinz, who's gone for a spin, and he's going to be collected by the pack behind. That car is absolutely destroyed. What on earth happened to Hinzy there? Looks like he got a bit of a tap from the side from Lachlan Capel. That forced him down onto the apron, and from then on, he was just a passenger.
Get the VRS replay now, and you're exactly right. It's not much, but it doesn't take much at these speeds. We're on board with him now. No, we're not on board with him now. We're watching from TV. He's on the inside of Lachlan Cable, like you said. A little bit of a touch right there. Sends him down to the apron, and this is why we said no apron running, because just a passenger comes up and bang into the wall, or tap into the wall, but he rolls backwards. He doesn't hold the brakes, and then absolute innocent bystanders. I didn't get to see who that was because they were traveling so quick, but I think that was my guess. Blair Bowler and Zach Mitchell. No, it wasn't Zach Mitchell.
It was Daniel Yeaman, I think. Oh no, it was Zach Mitchell in car 54. Here's the view on board from Bowler. You'll see Hinzy stopped here. He starts moving back down the racetrack, and bam, there we go. Huge incident there.
That was, I think that's the biggest one that we've had tonight. That was, the first part of the accident wasn't too bad, but this is Tally's view, pack behind. You can see Hinzy just up in the distance. He's a little black speck, and then he's not, and that is absolutely huge contact. Even Capel lucky to get out of, not Capel, sorry. I'm not sure who that was, but very lucky to avoid that one.
Well, speaking of Capel, he's decided to go for a stop there. He falls back down to 20th. Stephen Grimmer also in the lane, as well as Blake Delaney. So, not many cars going for the pits on this caution, but with a 10.6 second stop time from Stephen Grimmer, no surprise, he's probably put some fresh rubber on that thing, and God knows he needed it.
Yeah, he definitely did. That was, I think, a cause of a lot of the spice in that restart. It was a short restart, but we still got, I think, 16 laps out of that. That's how quick the lap goes by, but he definitely acted as a bit of a bottleneck. He's the last car on the lead lap at the moment, but it's 20 laps to run. If he gets into the top 10, I wouldn't that out of the possibilities with everything that's happened so far.
Well, this is the 5th caution of the night, and your top 3 are Sam Blacklock, Andrew Gilliam, and Cameron Dance. And Cam certainly looking to narrow that championship points gap to Job Stewart, who currently runs in 5th behind Brady Carr. That we're certainly going to be seeing some points shuffling even further back at the standings as well. And no surprise that Cam is as chill as ever, taking a big old swig of what's probably some Spates.
What, sorry?
Spates. It's S-P-E-I-G-H-T apostrophe S. It's a New Zealand beer. And Cam has professed his love for it in the past.
Fair enough. I'm
funny though, considering he has logos for Tui beer on his hyperstimulator as well. So I think Cam just likes to have a brew in general.
I mean, got to chill out in a race one way, right? They used to do it in the 70s, and esports is And,
Oh my
esports is still pretty young. So it's kind of like the 70s of Formula One races is the now of esports. So why not?
Yeah, why not indeed? We might as well have a full field of James Hunts at this rate. And you heard me saying, oh my god, that was our broadcast director Jay Kennedy jumping in with a pun. Cam Dance doesn't chill out, he chulls out. Of course, we got to get a Kiwi accent joke in there somewhere, don't we?
Yeah, I was trying to think of a nice PG joke to make, but I couldn't think of one. But I am glad that I missed that the first time because it's atrocious. I'm sorry, Jay, but that was deplorable.
Oh, he's done it again. Jay goes, it was choice, eh? God, ugh. I better cut it out, otherwise I'll probably say something that can't be broadcast. Back to the action on track, or off track in this case. Bo Albert has come in for another stop in the lane, and he's currently in his box, getting it fueled up and hoping to have a good run here towards the finish. But he is many laps down on the drivers ahead of him, so this is probably just going to be a fight to get to the checkered flag here for Bo, which is a big shame considering he started so well.
Yeah, he absolutely did. My picks for the win were one of the two Altus cars or one of the two Pursuit cars that were running up the front if they could keep it clean as well. But unfortunately, Bo's sim racing luck strikes again, which is now, I think, infamous, not just in Australia either. So hopefully he can get some points back, but definitely not the finish he deserved.
Neither for Thomas Hinds, who has joined the retirements list as Sam Blacklock pulls away. We are on for the restart with 18 laps to go. Sam Blacklock then getting a good run off the start, but that is going to change into a big old train in a few laps. Bailey Frid here involved with Corey McFarlane, James Shepherd and Simon Mazzomo right behind him. They got Matt Bowler starting to round them up as well as we're on board here with Mez. And eyes forward for short, getting a good run coming onto the tri-oval to begin lap 60. Now we have 16 laps to go. Oh boy, I'm starting to run out of voice here, but we've got to find some in reserve because it's back on for the lead. Cameron Dance pushing Job Stewart there into second place and trying their best to get the run on Sam Blacklock. Sorry, that's Andrew Gilliam in second. Job Stewart is the second pursuit car there in fifth. Not to mention, they have got Brady Carr up there with them as well as the top three, all within a few hundredths of a second coming into turn one.
Yeah, this is exactly where I expected Cam to be come this point of the race. I'm not surprised that Gilliam, Blacklock, Carr and Stewart are there either. They've got a bit of a gap back to Dan Stevens in sixth place, but that's dropping down as well with Bailey Frid and James Shepherd just behind them. And this pack grows bigger by the corner. Sam Blacklock still holding it low, defending that line because that's where you want to be. Cam Dance with a monstrous run out of turn two. Doesn't quite get where he wants though because there's a big old Sam Blacklock, Altus Delara in his way, but now they go too wide, nearly three wide behind. Brady Carr dropping to the back of this pack. Yeah, McFarlane with a massive run out of turn three. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's placing his car quite well as Corey McFarlane, and for a brief moment it is Kiwis 1 and 2, but Andrew Gilliam just inching back into second place around the outside of Cam Dance for a few brief moments, and the night is on here at Las Vegas. It is pitch dark in the sky, and they're going three wide potentially for second place. Those two pursuit cars placing themselves incredibly well of Gilliam and Stewart. They've got there's been a bit of an incident. James Shepherd, he was slow, but he's managed to keep it going. I think he just glanced off the wall after contact with another car, but coming around to start lap 65. It is New Zealand 1 and 2 once again of Sam Blacklock and Cameron Dance. As we see, I think that is Zach Mitchell. It is making his way out of the pit on the apron. What a fight this is for the lead of the race. McFarlane with a monster draft. He's not able to make up any more ground here on the top three though. This is going to be super intense as we enter the final 10 laps of this race.
Yeah, Sam Blacklock is just eyes forward. He knows those cars are behind him, but he can't afford to get distracted by any of them at the moment. He's holding his line perfectly. We've got another caution. I didn't see what that was for, but that was in 24th place.
Tyson Broad. He caught the apron in the tri-oval, and fortunately no other cars were involved in that. There would have been one heck of a ride for Zach Mitchell, though. Once we see what happened here to Tyson Broad, let's get an onboard from Zach Mitchell, because I think he just glanced off Tyson Broad. Big shame here for Tyson. He was running quite well early on as well, but once again, that's what happens when you catch the apron in the tri-oval. Spinning around and coming back onto the racetrack in just a few moments, and you'll see Zach Mitchell coming up here. Watch the bottom left quadrant of the screen. Right there!
Just a little bit off the top, please, sir. That's what that one was, and for sure, Zach is cursing in Discord at the moment. I can hear him now, but that was about as close as you want to get. I think that was closer than Isaac earlier, and oh my god, that was millimeters.
Oh, man. I think he'll be lucky for the hitbox alterations that come with racing in the online sphere, because he's just managed to escape, I think, with no damage from that. Broad has managed to make it back into pit lane. All he has to repair in terms of damage is the nose cone, from what I can see. So very fortunate that there weren't many victims in the incident that brought out that caution, but it's going to be a proper sprint to the end now for all of these drivers. And apart from Tyson Broad, no one has come onto pit lane, so we can assume that everyone is safe on fuel until the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be a very, very interesting race. I think we're going to have 6 laps to go, maybe 5 when we go green. So it's the sprint of all sprints to the finish, and Cam Dance looking for that second race win in a row, which is going to be very, very difficult, because Sam Blacklock has been driving very well these last few green flag runs that we've had, and just holding that inside line, and the guys are getting the run around the outside, and then they stall with top speed. So if Sam gets a good enough run that doesn't give too much of a tow to Cam behind, then I think he can pull this off. But if Cam gets a good start or gets a massive tow from a delayed start, then it's all his to sweep around the outside and snag it right at the last second.
This could go any way at all in the final stages of Fixed Indy Australia Round 3 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And this will be good for Sam Blacklock. He showed great potential last round at Gateway with his huge fight up through the field, and taking advantage of staying out of trouble throughout the caution fest that was that round, and almost grabbing a podium for Altus Esports out of all of that. So if he can hold on for this win, it will certainly be well deserved. He's shown great pace all night, but Cam Dance will be fighting as hard as he possibly can in that TechSense Fitstein Motorsports Dallara to try and grab that victory. Either way, it is still New Zealand 1 and 2 for the time being. We got to go down to Dan Stevens in 8th to find the next Kiwi.
Yeah, bloody Kiwis coming over here and dominating all of our racing categories, both in real life and online now as well. So make of that what you will, I guess. Isn't it something that if we have a successful Kiwi, they just automatically become Australian or something like that? So I don't know what you're talking about. It's an Aussie 1-2 at the moment. So but both of those guys all wanted. Well, yeah, as Jay pointed out, Sam at least does live in Australia, so we'll nab him as well. But either way, these guys have put on a fantastic show, and whatever the next 5 laps bring us, it's been absolutely entertaining, and I can't imagine the next 5 are going to be any worse than what could be worse than what we've seen already.
It has been a fantastic night of racing, and I've been thoroughly entertained. You know, we had an excellent first round of the season at Road America. Gateway, yeah, you know, it was Gateway, but this field has come on strong here at Las Vegas, and the majority of incidents have not quite involved other cars. Yes, we have had on balance quite a few cars taken out in incidents bringing out cautions, but for the most part it's been drivers spinning themselves out and not taking too many with them. But the lights are off on the pace car. Sam Blacklock will be lining up what we hope will be the final restart of the night at Las Vegas. And we wait with bated breath to see when he puts the hammer down. He goes a little bit later, does Sam Blacklock, and we are racing again. The top four breaking away. The pursuit pair of Gilliam and Stewart in hot pursuit of these two Kiwis up at the front of the field. They will have to watch out for Corey McFarlane, though. You see him there in the black and white machine. The drop bear pair of Simon Mazzomo and Brady Carr. What a great run it's been for Simon Mazzomo, up 23 positions, but Brady Carr's going to go to his inside as there goes Andrew Gilliam, and he makes contact with Cam Dance. Oh my goodness, they both managed to keep it going. A little bit of side damage to both of those cars. Might that affect their pace? Corey McFarlane will try his best to get around the outside, but he gets tagged and bam, into the wall. Massive incident there. The caution is back out. Drivers are going to have to try and avoid Corey McFarlane here. He stopped in the middle of the racetrack. Oh, good avoidance from everybody, but that is a huge shame. Looked to me like Andrew Gilliam, he was already suffering a bit of understeer thanks to that contact with Dance, which brought him up into McFarlane, but you are looking at the face of our race winner as a result of that. The last 3 laps are going to go under caution. Sam Blacklock doing everything right tonight.
Yeah, he's driven a phenomenal race, and that's why he's at the lead of the pack. This is the replay. This is the contact there between the Pursuit and the Texans Fitzsty car brings Corey into this. He had a fantastic run on the 3 of them, and I'm not sure if that was Job Stewart or I think it was Andrew Gilliam coming up into McFarlane there, just out of turn 2, and very good avoidance by everyone in the back half of that pack to just avoid him. And yeah, that was very close. That was nearly a massive wreck.
Oh, and that is the incident that started it all. Side-by-side contact between Gilliam and Dance, and McFarlane, he didn't have many places to go. He could have moved up more to the outside, but I don't think he would have anticipated the understeer for Andrew Gilliam as a result of that damage. Got a bit of the side pod for the 201, which would have compromised downforce through the corners. And it's going to be a very hard pill to swallow, I think, for Corey McFarlane, considering he came into this round 3rd in the championship standings. He's going to lose a ton of points as a result of this.
Yeah, he absolutely will, and it's not even just the points. He was running a very, very good race all night, and for it to come away like that with 5 laps to go is just the worst way to lose a race. And yeah, those points are definitely going to hurt him, but the race on its own was fantastic up until that point, and I don't really think that he did anything wrong in that. He held his line, and they just unfortunately came together right at the end.
Well, it's 3 different teams in the top 3 spots on the podium. Altus Esports, of course, Sam Blacklock, Texans Fitzsty Motorsports for Cameron Dance, and Andrew Gilliam will grab 3rd for Pursuit Sim Racing out of that. Job Stewart, I think he, if he's finished 4th, he's still going to have enough of a points haul for tonight to just hold on to the championship lead versus Cameron Dance. But either way, with a 2nd place finish for Dance, it's certainly tightened up that gap at the front as well.
Yeah, it definitely has. And this isn't a massive calendar season either, so every race really, really counts. And big shake up tonight. I think Job Stewart's going to be pretty happy. And I mean, Cam Dance is in front of him, so he will get some points back, but it's not going to be a massive amount either. So it's going to make it great for us to watch in the second half of the season. But Yeah, big points shake up tonight for a lot of really crucial drivers, I think.
Well, final lap, and it's a very sedate one here for the number 215 of Sam Blacklock. The pace car is going to cross the line ahead of everyone, but Blacklock completely untroubled in that first position. What a fantastic drive it was from the Altus Esports driver, and it is a New Zealand 1-2 finish at the end of this. So through the final turn they come under caution. It was we got some great green flag runs throughout this round at Las Vegas, and some very entertaining racing, but here we are, it is confirmed. Crossing the line in first place, Sam Blacklock.
You can see the celebrations there, the big smile on his face. He's very happy with that. Hasn't had quite the run he's wanted on the sim lately, so those many, many laps of practice very much paying their dues for him, and absolutely great result for him.
Well, it's a night of ups and downs for Altus Esports. Bo Albert is going to cross the line in 26th place, but for all intents and purposes, he should have been right up there with Sam Blacklock. Fortunately for Altus, they will get one car up there at the top of the field. So, with that all said and done, I think it's high time we go through our results, but not until we see Sam Blacklock start his victory celebrations. Already seeing some attempted victory donuts further back in the field from Matt Bowler. He's lost part of his front wing as a result of that. But lining up on the front stretch, I'm seeing back in the field Corey McFarlane giving a little French kiss to Chris Weitzel, who's running in reverse down the back stretch. That's pretty entertaining, but all eyes will be on Sam Blacklock. Everyone else going for the pit lane, but here we go. Victory donut time for Altus Esports number 215, and these donuts will taste especially sweet.
Yeah, they definitely will, and Altus getting victory donuts on an oval is not necessarily a rare occurrence. Of course, Altus have their big NASCAR division as well, with Matt Danson, who we saw in the Scrap Series late last year, but IndyCar is a new sort of oval donut for them, from my memory, so I'm sure he'll be very glad to be the first one to get those for the team.
That he will. Well, the burnout being done on the start-finish line, and those are our results. Sam Blacklock, Cameron Danson, Andrew Gilliam, your top three. It's Job Stewart and Simon Mazzomo who round out the top five. Great run from Simon Mazzomo there, making up 24 places by the end. Daniels, Stevens, and Yeaman finish 6th and 7th. It's going to be Bailey Frid, Matt Bowler, and Fishy's Jamie Dyke rounding out the top 10.
Nathan Gardner rounds out begins the second lot of 10, with Sebastian Flock and Lachlan Capel finishing 12th and 13th. James Shepherd in 14th ahead of Blake Delaney finishing the first half of the grid. Mike Taliancic and Isaac Edwards finishing in 17th. Caleb Hyde's the first car a lap down in 18th, with Ben Johnson and Brady Carr finishing in 20th spot.
21st was Chris Weitzel, 2 laps down. He's joined 2 laps down by Tyson Broad and Corey McFarlane, who, unfortunately, his crash brought out the final caution. Stephen Grimmer classified 24th place. Then it's David Coleman, Bo Albert, and Blair Bowler. Your last cars 6 laps down. Zach Mitchell managing to get to the finish, I believe. Unfortunately, retirement for Tristo Yelland and Thomas Hinz. Tom Wilkinson was present in the server, but did not take part in any of the sessions. And still in the midst of his victory donuts, we are joined by Sam Blacklock here in the SimSpeed commentary box. Congratulations, Sam. That looked like a bit of a tough one. Las Vegas, always pulling up great pack racing in IndyCar, must have been quite a stressful time.
Yeah, hey guys. Pretty incredible. my second proper oval race ever. So I definitely wasn't expecting that. Yeah, just really good fun. Had an awesome race there with Cam and Andrew for the lead there, which I managed to get by not taking tyres at the pit stop. So yeah, it was a bit of a handful those last few laps, but yeah, really happy to hang on.
Yeah, interesting to hear that you didn't take tyres. Obviously, that gave you a great advantage. But once you got up into the lead, and we saw this throughout the night, it was the inside line that really had the advantage around here.
Yeah, I could see Andrew trying to work out how to piece together a run to get past me, but yeah, I think where he was, and you know, I don't know if he was on fresh tyres or not, but it just seemed like he was struggling to get round the outside. So I kind of knew that if I just stuck down low and kept my head, you know, kept focus and didn't make a mistake, it'd hopefully be all right. But I knew Cam was coming as well, so. Yeah, obviously there was a bit of a crazy moment at the end there with Cam and Andrew just before he went yellow again. And yeah, I had a similar moment. Don't know if you guys saw it with Andrew through the tri-oval. So yeah, it's pretty scary stuff, even on the sim when you're doing, you know, I don't know what speeds we're doing, like 380, 370 something. And you know, you're racing wheel to wheel. It's pretty full on, and something I didn't think I'd enjoy that much, but yeah, it's been awesome so far.
Yeah, certainly has. And we go next round to Richmond. Obviously, you say yourself not much experience when it comes to oval racing, but what are your thoughts going into that round? Quite a different track.
Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts really. Obviously, I want to try and get another good result. But honestly, I couldn't tell you what Richmond even looks like, or if it's a big open track or you know, one of the little speedways. I genuinely have no idea. So I'll work that out on once I've got through Daytona 24-hour this weekend.
Yeah, of course. Well, I can tell you that Richmond is a much smaller oval than these ones. Well, before we let you go, Sam, anyone you'd like to thank for your victory tonight?
Yeah, just a big thanks to Altus and their sponsors, Logitech G. They've looked after me really well over the last year, so really appreciate their support. I don't even know who our sponsors are because I've been away from the sim for so long. But I don't know. I think Simon had, so here we go. Yeah, big thanks to Virtual Racing School, Race Tech Seats, Own 3D, iLiveries, Cube Controls, and Astro as well. And yeah, big thanks to Bo and a few of the other guys that did some practice races with and stuff earlier this week. It's been really fun racing with them, and you know, doing something different. It's yeah, it's been awesome.
Certainly has been an awesome night of racing. That is Sam Blacklock there, your race winner tonight. Fantastic performance indeed. Next up, we got our second place finish at Cameron Dance. Car 6 stood by with Brad Wingard.
Cam, that was awesome to watch. We had a feeling you might be up the pointy end of that at the end, and you were. And give us a quick rundown of some of the major points of that race from your perspective, mainly the contact that kind of brought out one of the very late caution, well, the last caution between you and the two PRT cars.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what happened. Me and Andrew have obviously looked over it both ourselves and sort of come to the agreement that Netcode was sort of a little bit of a player in that one. So, yeah, we're very, very lucky to get away with that one, both of us, thankfully. But, yeah, a little bit of a shame that the race ended up under caution with the incident that happened at Turn 2 with Gilliam and I think it was Corey McFarlane. So, but, hey, it was a really, really good race, to be honest. Like, everybody was really, really clean for the most part and, yeah, really, really enjoyable.
Well, glad to hear it was enjoyable for you in the car as it was for us in the box. But do you think if that incident between the three of you didn't happen, do you think you could have had the run on Sam for the win, or do you reckon that inside line was just too powerful?
Hard to tell, to be honest. I mean, it's one of those things that was really, really hard to tell as to whether I could have actually got a run on him based on the fact that the track was quite cold, obviously, and the fact that Andrew was right on my outside the entire time. I think it was going to be a little bit difficult to try and challenge Sam for the win, but we was definitely going to get a podium at least based on the fact we had the inside line and we were cranking Weight Jacker into it to try and get the thing to turn. So, yeah, it was really, really going to come down to what was going to possibly happen in the last few laps and whether Andrew could get a run on me or not.
Well, it was definitely keeping us with bated breath in the commentary box to see what would happen, but unfortunately that last caution did come out and that was it settled. We go to Richmond next week. Obviously, very, very different track. And do you reckon you'd be able to give us some foresight into that? Because I know a lot of the guys are very new to the track there.
I haven't really done a particular amount of racing at Richmond myself in any sort of car, to be honest. I mean, it's a very, very short track for these cars. The lap times are very, very quick, and I wouldn't be surprised if some people get dizzy. But yeah, no, it's going to be really, really interesting. We're probably going to be on the road course Aero kit as well, so Aero Push is probably going to be a little bit worse than what it was here, but at the same time it also won't be too bad with the fact we've got so much downforce on the cars. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and what sort of results people might come away with and what people might experience. It's just going to be a matter of also making sure that you're nice and smooth and looking after those tyres, especially in traffic where it's going to be all about managing that aero push and seeing what sort of lines you can use as well.
Well, I'm sure we all look forward to seeing what happens next week. Like you said, very different racetrack to this one. Anyone you would like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just first of all, shout out to the boys at TechSense Fitstein Motorsport and our partners, TechSense Sensors, Renville Harnesses, Demon Tweaks, Fight CRC, Majors Garage, Sim3D, you guys for the awesome broadcast, Dan and Tom and the team from AOG for the awesome series, all the boys for the awesome racing tonight, especially Andrew, Sam and them, and of course Bud and Sam on his win. And yeah, we'll see what we can do next week at Richmond, and hopefully we can extend our lead in the championship. I think we have, but if not, we hopefully can see it get to the front.
Awesome. Well, we will catch you then, and have a great rest of your night.
Yeah, cheers.
Good stuff there from Cam Dance, and the final driver interview of the night will be third place, Andrew Gilliam. Well, we got Cam's perspective on that incident, Andrew. Yeah, you guys have both looked over that. What was your view on it?
Oh, it was super weird. I think the initial touch we had was like a bit of netcode that dragged the front of Cam's car sort of into my car, and then that's when we sort of got up in the air. I thought, oh no, here we go, and I've landed, and I'm still going straight. I'm like, oh, we're still on here. I just thought it was all over, and then we've kept on going.
Yes, but unfortunately, it looked like the little bit of aero damage that caused you a bit of understeer in turn one. I think Corey McFarlane would understand.
Yeah, I had a look at that replay, and there's probably a good 20 centimeter netcode, and I messaged him afterwards and cleared it up with him, and we're all good. But yeah, it was really good racing up until then. But yeah, that little bit of aero damage I got definitely sort of caught me off guard there.
Well, nonetheless, it is third place for you, and that's going to make it Pursuit Sim Racing 3 podiums in a row in the first 3 rounds of Fixed Indy Australia, and certainly with you equal 11th in the standings going into this round, that's a great championship points haul for you personally.
Yeah, for sure. I'm super bummed that I couldn't do the last round because, yeah, it's just such a good championship, sort of in the wait for the V8 stuff to start back up, so... But yeah, no, it's a really good points haul, super good results for the team. Like you said, 3 podiums in a row. So yeah, look forward to next week.
As do we. What are your thoughts on Richmond going into this next round? Have you driven there before? And I mean, do you think that you'll be able to keep up this good run of results at a very different track?
Well, I'd like to think I could. I literally downloaded this track 15 minutes after practice started tonight. So yeah, I got a good feel for it really quick, and so yeah, hopefully I get a good feel for Richmond. I'd probably have to download that one as well because I'm more of a circuit driver, so this is all very new to me.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck in your preparations for Richmond next week. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go, Andy?
yeah, huge shout out to Bowler Media, Track Racer, and V&M Simulation for their support. We couldn't be doing it without them.
Thanks very much for joining us there. Number 11, Andrew Gilliam, or 201 rather, Andrew Gilliam. That brings to an end proceedings for tonight here. Round 3 of Fixed Indy Australia at Las Vegas. Brad, a fantastic night of racing. I can't wait for Richmond next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a different beast again. Of course, Gateway's that medium speed tonight. We've had a very high speed track. Richmond is the complete opposite. It's still quick, but like Cameron said in his interview, such high downforce, and tyres are going to be a bigger factor there than I think they were at Gateway. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be another beast and a whole different strategy.
Well, we look forward to bringing it to you 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time on the 28th of January. But now is the time that we say our goodbyes. It was Jay Kennedy on production, making everything happen behind the scenes. I'm Reese Gardner, and it was Brad Wingard alongside me in the commentary box. Fixed Indy Australia by Aussie Online Gaming and SimSpeed TV. It just keeps getting better. We hope you can join us next time.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's going around the outside. Both of them. Maloney. Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to him. Oh, my God. Big crash. Oh, my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys I want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh, my God.
God, what?